Welcome to the Daddy, Daughter, and Disney podcast, where me and my daughter celebrate our shared love of Disney's animated movies.
Okay, so we decided we're going to do the Disney Renaissance films.
Okay. So we're doing 10 to 1, worst to best?
Of course. Yeah, you got to go backwards because,
Okay.
And when I did my list, it's funny. We'll talk about it. It was crazy because I took some notes. It was crazy when I did my list how good the low movies were. Like there were movies really low on my list where I was like, I like this movie
Why
a
are you so
lot.
low?
Huh? Yeah,
I was like, why are
exactly.
you so low?
Yeah, and then I see the other movies above it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you kind of have to be low. So it is what it is. Okay, so first of all, why there's a Disney Renaissance? We always talk about Don Bluth, right? The guy who used to be a Disney animator. And I was doing some research on him yesterday. First of all, he's still alive.
Oh,
He's
he
86.
outlived Disney. He outlived Walt.
Well, all this happened after Walt. Walt died in 66, Roy died in 71, and I only know all this stuff because I read it yesterday. Um, and that's when everything started going south as far as
Mm,
Disney started making movies. The movies weren't the same level of movie that you know
right.
that Disney was making when he was alive. Don Bluth was an animator for them, and he had been animating for them from way back. I forgot which movie he started on, but it might have been Sleeping Beauty. But he's been working with them for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he wanted to change some things up. Yeah, he's old. He's old, but but he wanted to change some things up, and they didn't want to, so he left. But when he left, he took 11 animators with him, and apparently they said that was 17% of their roster was gone when he left. So
Oh,
clearly
no.
that was yeah.
That's not good.
So and I'm going to name some of his movies, and I've seen most of these. Only ones I haven't. There's only one I haven't seen. Um, Tell me which ones you know. Like you saw Rockadoodle, of course, right?
Yeah. I don't
Okay,
remember, but I know I've seen it.
yeah. An American Tale.
American Tail, yeah. You cut out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, I've
raining a
seen it,
lot
yeah.
here. It's raining here,
Um,
so I think it's going to affect things. Did you like that? Did you like American Tail and Five O Goes West, the sequel?
I think so, yeah. I think I've seen both of those. Little mice
Okay.
going to America. Yeah.
Yeah, Five was the little mouse,
Mm.
and of course, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I know you've seen that
Yes, I've
a thousand
seen.
times. Do
Yes.
you like it?
And there's I remember liking it as a kid, yeah.
Hmm. It's been a while since you've seen it.
Yeah.
The Secret of Nim.
It sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I've
Yeah,
seen it.
I know I haven't. That's the one I haven't seen. And then what might be my favorite, Anastasia.
I've seen it, I just don't remember. I was so young, I do
Okay.
not remember. I remember being
Yeah, all
scared of
these.
the villain.
Yeah, Anastasia has some dark elements in it. But a lot of these movies are all way before your time. I mean,
Mm.
these movies came out around the time before and during the Disney Renaissance movies, which were all. I mean, you were born in 2008, so all these movies were made when you were by the time you were born.
Mm.
And The Land Before Time.
Land Before, yes, I've seen.
You like that one?
Yes, I
Well, the
remember. I liked it a
120.
lot. Oh my
I
god.
don't know how many sequels they made. It was insane. But
And we thought Toy Story 5 was bad.
right, and it is. But but yeah.
It's like if they
Anyway,
took a show and just made every episode a movie.
right. Yeah. so yeah, so anyway, that was the whole thing. He took the animators with him. He started making good movies. An American Tail was the main one that took off,
Mm.
and Disney was like, "Oh," and then they started stepping up their game. Now, I wanted to talk about this. So I want to talk about the movies right before the Renaissance and then right after the Renaissance. Then we're going to go into our list, okay?
Okay.
So the three movies that came out right before the Renaissance. The Black Cauldron, which a
What?
lot of people say. I've never seen it. The Black Cauldron.
I've apparently that's like one of the most notorious vaulted movies of Disney history.
Right. And that's what I keep
I've never
hearing. I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it either,
Yes.
but they keep it's trashed in the
Yeah.
reviews.
Everybody's always like,
Um,
they made it and then they stuck it in the vault for like 20 some odd years until
they
Disney
don't want
Plus
anybody to see
came out. They
it. Right.
locked it away for no one to ever watch.
So that means, of course, we have to watch it and review it.
Yes. We must
So
dig
it
it
was the
up.
Black.
We have to dig up its grave.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the Black Cauldron, the Great Mouse Detective.
Is that the one with Radigan in it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I've seen that, yeah.
Is it good? I haven't seen it.
Um, I don't, it was a while ago, so I don't really remember it. But I remember being scared of Radigan.
Disney
I
has
remember
some
being
pretty
scared of him.
crazy villains.
Yeah. If you just like look at its
Maleficent.
like character design, it's scary looking.
Yeah. Yeah, it has some terrifying villains. Even Scar was scary. I'd be prepared.
Mhm.
It's kind
Disney
of
was
cheeky.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Disney villains used to be scary back in the day.
Yeah. And then the one right before was Oliver and Company.
I've never seen. I think I heard of it once, and it was not pleasant.
I watched it and I liked it. I was younger, but I actually enjoyed Oliver and Company. And actually, some people try to include it in the Disney Renaissance, but not really. Because I saw a
It's
list where it
not.
was included. Hmm,
No. It's not comparable to The Little Mermaid. You have to compare it to The Little Mermaid at least.
right. I guess it has to compare favorably to the Little Mermaid. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, what surprised me was the movies in the Renaissance that were afterwards. Now, you tell me.
Hmm.
I was like, I didn't feel like Disney lost their swing until after
Later.
these movies. Yeah, so I'm going to name these movies. I'm going to name them all right quick, and then we'll talk about them a little bit. Okay. So the ones that came right after the Renaissance
Mhm.
was Dinosaur, Fantasia 2000, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch landed afterwards?
Yep. I never saw Dinosaur, but I heard it was good.
I've never seen it aside from in the film theory Disney Death Counter videos. That's
Right.
the first time I've ever heard of this movie. Prior to that, I was like, what? What is this? Yeah, that's the only time I've ever heard anyone mention this movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you had
Yeah,
seen it.
so
I
I've
think
never
some of
seen
your, I think your older siblings watched it maybe, but you
it.
might have been younger when they watched it. And then Fantasia 2000, I haven't seen. Um,
Mhm.
but then The Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite movies.
Yes. Then Atlantis
And
is
then
one of my
Atlantis,
favorite movies.
right? And I love Atlantis. To me, if Atlantis had come right afterwards, I would have included it in the Disney Renaissance because it was to me it's
Yeah.
just as good as those movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Lilo and Stitch.
Which
Um,
how? How have you never seen this movie?
I'm gonna tell you, when my sisters were younger, when we were kids, there were movies that they would watch over and over and over again. And once
Mm.
I realized they were gonna watch it a lot, I made a point of never looking at it because I didn't want to get burnt out. And Lilo and Stitch was one of those movies because everybody liked that movie so much, and y'all like to play. One of y'all like to play that movie a lot.
I think it was either
So I
me or
never,
Brandon.
maybe I think Brandon was the one that liked it.
I think so, yeah.
Um, because he
Like
likes
that
the
Stitch
silliness.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah, but I never got into it because of that. But I heard it's really good. You know,
yeah,
so I was kind of surprised at the quality of the movies after the Disney Renaissance.
yeah.
Because to me, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Lilo and Stitch could probably roll right with the Renaissance movies. You know, but
Mm.
anyway, okay,
But just for making Kita an official Disney princess.
right, yeah, they didn't, right? They haven't.
No.
No, they need to.
Why? Yes, exactly.
Keita, Keita's great,
Hmm?
and she's a princess.
Yes, exactly. Unlike Mulan,
Like,
who's in the Disney Renaissance.
I don't know. You have to put Mulan up there, though. Mulan's basically a king. I mean,
Oh yeah,
she
basically.
saved the whole freaking country. You got to
Yeah,
give her props. But yeah,
yeah,
Keita definitely should be up there. I mean, Keita did sacrifice herself for her kingdom too, though. It was a smaller kingdom,
yeah.
but
She still did it.
so yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Keita should be a Disney princess. So,
Mm.
because she wasn't even in Wreck-It Ralph, was she?
No disrespect,
Wow,
but
all
respect
those
unto
people.
you.
They had Merida in there, and
Yeah, the
who's
Frozen,
Pixar?
who aren't even princesses even more. They're both queens.
Yeah, and of course Vanellope. That was the whole thing. It's her movie, but you
Yeah,
know, yeah,
but
that's dirty.
they.
They should have had Keita in at least Wreck-It
Yeah.
Ralph, at least in that movie.
Mhm.
All right. Well, who's gonna go first? Let's start our list.
So we flip a coin.
Okay. Sure. I flipped it. You go first.
How dare you? Number 10 on the list. Number 10 on the list is Rescuers Down Under.
Skewers Down Under. Yes, that's
Yeah.
number two on both of our lists. I think
Yeah.
it's
The
only
only
on the
reason
Disney.
is because it came out after The Little Mermaid, but before the other ones. It's the only reason.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yep. And it's the only reason because it's not Disney Renaissance quality. I would replace it with either The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, or Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, one of those three would fit in perfectly.
Yeah. So yeah, number 10 is that we both knew what number 10 was going to be.
I was gonna say, like, the original Rescuers isn't even, like, on par with the Disney Renaissance. And the Rescuers Down Under is worse than the first one. It's
Right.
like,
Right. Oh
how are
yeah.
you going to
It's
have
way worse.
a direct-to-DVD sequel in the Renaissance?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That movie. Yeah. The Rescuers Down Under. Well, you notice when people talk about the Disney Renaissance, nobody mentions it.
No. Everyone leaves it out. No one talks about it.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, let me actually go through before we keep going. I'm going to go through the movies in order, so we'll just know the timeline.
Right.
So it's Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the
Mhm.
Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan.
Mm.
That's the order they came out in.
Right.
So, and I'm with you on the Rescuers Down Under. Yeah, if it had been in within that order, it wouldn't be included in the Disney Renaissance movies.
No.
As a matter of
And
fact,
most.
when people used to name the Renaissance movies back in the day before it was really solidified, people usually said Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and they skipped right past the Rescuers.
Right over it.
Yeah. So number 9 is the first true Renaissance movie, really, when we think about it. And this is the movie that shocked me when I saw it on this list, because basically it's at the bottom of the list for me. But I'm like, I really like this movie. It's Tarzan.
Right. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep.
Because I guess
And as
when
much
you
as I
compare it to the other ones, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. But it still kind of hurts. This good movie.
Right. It's a really good, like every movie on here after that hurts, and
Right.
especially one in particular, which I'll talk about, but you probably can guess. I had a
One in
attack of
particular.
conscience with one of the movies, but you said
Oh
what?
no.
But yeah, Tarzan was my number nine. What's your number nine?
My number. You might not like me for this. My number 9 is Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast isn't one of my favorite movies
Oh, okay.
like that. It's really really good, but
Yeah. The main reason is I don't remember it very much because I watched it once when I was like 10.
oh, see, I
Yeah.
feel like with you, if you had watched the Beauty and the Beast a couple of years later, I think it'd be one of your
Yeah.
favorite movies. It
Yeah.
seems
If
like your style.
I had watched it continuously as like a kid, like I did with like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, and stuff like that, it would be
Right,
much higher on this list. I just don't
right,
have the attachment to it.
right. Yeah, I understand. See, that's how I am kind of with Oliver and Company. I have that attachment to it because I watched it so much. But but yeah, I'm with you. So what's your number eight?
My number 8 is Pocahontas.
Okay. So you like it more than Beauty and the Beast, or you remember it better than Beauty and the Beast, I guess.
Yeah. Despite me
Okay.
not watching it as a child because it was banned in our house.
Really? I can't imagine. Was it? I
I
don't know anything
wonder
about
why.
that.
I wonder why it was
I'll talk
banned.
about, I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but number eight, my number eight was Beauty and the Beast. So
One spot higher than mine.
yeah, so it was pretty low. I mean, So number seven for me, this was my attack of conscience, and you
Oh
teed me
no.
up nicely
Was it Hercules?
with your number
Was
eight.
it
My number seven
Hercules?
is Pocahontas. Pocahontas.
Ah,
And the reason for me is because I made when I made my list, I made myself take away my disdain for the
right.
historical
They can
inaccuracy,
handle that.
which is
Right.
the reason me and your mom didn't really let y'all
Right. Which
watch
is why it
those
was banned in the house.
right, basically. But if you take away the historical inaccuracies, as grave as they are, and as much as I hate them, and as much as I think the movie should never have been made, it's an abomination. It's a good movie.
Right.
It really is. The
It's a
movie's
good.
good,
The music is
and
very good.
the music is one. It's one of the best soundtracks
Yeah.
that Disney has.
Colors of the
It really is.
Wind is like one of the best Disney songs ever. It's so good.
It really is. Vanessa Williams killed it. Yeah,
What
that
did you say
song
his
is
name was?
beautiful. Her name is Vanessa Williams. She doesn't sing it in
Vanessa
the movie. She
Williams.
sings it on the soundtrack. Yeah.
Mm.
She was actually a Miss America once back in the
Huh.
day.
That's fun.
Yeah. But but yeah, that the movie is really good. Like there was a time when I really liked the movie a lot.
Hmm.
As I got older and the historical stuff got to me more and more, and I realized more and
Right.
more how bad it was. Like that movie would never be made now. They wouldn't make it like that now because it's so
No.
terribly
That's why they haven't touched it in like 20 years. They've never
right.
touched this movie, aside from Wreck-It
Yeah.
Ralph.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They included her in Wreck-It Ralph too. Which they should have. Again,
She's in
she's
the
a
official
princess.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a really good movie. It really is. So I forced myself to detach from the historical stuff and just judge it as a movie. And that's where it came up. I like it a little bit more than Beauty and the Beast.
Mm.
Okay, what's your number seven?
My number 7 is Tarzan.
Okay. So we're on the same page with the bottom part of the list.
Yeah. Because we obviously
Yeah, because
grew up, we watched it a lot.
Tarzan was good.
Yeah.
So the bottom four, our bottom four is the same, just in different orders.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about to get real. So go
Oh,
ahead with your
no.
number
But
six.
my number 6, you're gonna hate me for this. My number 6 is Hercules.
That hurts a little bit. That does hurt. Explain to me this heresy.
It's just that, like, everything, like, I couldn't put it above anything else. I couldn't think of anything
Right.
else to put it above.
That's how I did it. That's how I did. I started from the bottom. I don't know if you did that. I started from the bottom and I just kept listing movies and I would look above it and see if there was anything I liked more less. And that's how I kind of ranked everybody. So,
Hmm.
did you start from the bottom or the top?
Well, I did the top two because those two are like locked in for me, and then
Okay.
I went from the bottom up. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I went from the bottom all the way up. I was actually surprised at my number two, but
Mm.
we'll talk about it. My number six is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mm. How dare you?
And again, I love all these movies, but you
How
said
dare you?
what?
How dare you?
Yeah, we have fun with that movie. I can't wait to do our review of that movie.
Movie is very fun.
That might be a two-part episode
It
when we
might
review
be,
that
yeah,
one.
because we're gonna be recording for like 3 hours.
Right, talking about all the stuff that we have to say about
Yeah.
that crazy movie and Frollo.
Yes.
But see, that's the thing that's funny about that movie. Frollo makes the movie. Like that movie's not nearly as good
Mhm.
without Frollo.
No, no, it's nowhere near as good as it is with Frollo.
He's like the most intriguing, most entertaining character of all of them. Everybody else is
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Frollo owns that movie.
He steals the show. Frollo steals the entire
Yes, he
show.
does. Because that man coming out saying he had trouble with the fire last night. I was like, oh, come on, that's terrible.
Also, the fact
All
that
right.
Hellfire is the literal centerpiece of the entire movie. If you look, it's the exact middle of the movie. They knew what they were doing. They knew. They were like,
Oh, they
this
did that on
man.
purpose. They knew what they were.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie was great. It's a great movie. My number five is Mulan.
Okay.
So there's, like you said, there's nothing else to put above it. And I had a hard time with five and six, but Mulan ekes it out a little bit. I like the story a little bit better.
Hmm.
And it's a little bit less dark, which makes it more fun. Mulan's a little bit more
Yeah.
fun, clearly, than Hunchback.
Mm.
So, killing
Even though it
people in
has
their
some,
house.
even though there is a scene where you see like an entire cavalry just dead. There's that scene. That hits hard.
Yeah, yeah. It
And
definitely
you
has its
see,
moments. I mean,
yeah, you see Shane's dad's helmet and his sword, and they like prop it up. That scene.
that's dark.
I
With the
think I'm
scene,
pretty sure. What'd you say?
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I cried at that scene at like almost every time as a kid. Even
I can
though
see
I
that.
watched it a lot as a kid, I got so emotional every single time.
There's movies like that. No matter how many times I
Yeah.
watch them in certain scenes, and I'll tell myself, okay, I'm not gonna
Yes.
cry this time. I'm not gonna cry this time. It's like they're gonna be again, but
You
it
can't help
happens,
it. Yeah.
right? That's why I'm never watching Encanto again,
The ending scene. The ending scene. You
or I'll
can't.
just skip the end because there's no way that gets me every time. Oh, I was gonna say the scene in Mulan. They kind of play it. I don't know if it's comical or what. I guess it's sick when he sends those the envoys. He tells them to go and tell the Chinese that the Huns are coming,
Hmm.
and, and then he goes, "How many people do we need to send a message?" And the guy says one, and he unleashes his bow. Like
Yeah.
he killed one of the messengers, but they didn't show it.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's dark. Oh, this kids movie. What are you doing?
Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
That messed me up. That traumatized me a little. I wasn't a kid when it came out. I was in my 20s when Mulan came out, but still, I was like, whoa, that's dark.
It's messed up.
Right. So who's your number five? Or did you already tell me?
But you're gonna hate me for my number 5 again. You're gonna hate
I
me
know
for
what your
this.
number 5 is. I'm about to turn the video off now. As soon as you tell me. No, go. What is it?
The Lion King.
Ah! Thought I raised you
I'm
better than
sorry.
this.
I'm
Oh my god.
sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
have to explain to me how the greatest Disney movie of all time is your number 5 on the Renaissance list.
I'm sorry.
Golly.
I think part of it is because
You
we
you put the Lion King above Hunchback? I mean, Hunchback
what?
above the Lion King?
Yes.
Go ahead, explain.
Also Mulan above the Lion King.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. No, tell me about What were you going to say? It's because of what?
So somehow growing up we didn't watch it a lot, even though it like you're so attached to it. We didn't watch it very much. So I think again the emotional attachment of watching it as a kid just didn't hit as much as with some of the other
I
movies
get
that
it.
I watched as a kid.
It's kind of a serious movie
Yeah.
all the way through. No, it's a drama. It's pretty heavy. And it came out in
Mm-hmm.
94. So it means I was 20 when it came out, 1920. So I was of age of watching serious movies. And I saw it in the theater twice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I remember me and my first wife going to see it in the theater. Then I went with my family. And it's a really heavy movie. So it wouldn't be something kids would want to watch over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I could understand. That makes sense. Like Mulan's fun. You want to watch Mulan over and over again. Hercules for sure.
Right.
It's a fun movie. So I could get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still mad at you, but
You,
I can understand.
you still don't forgive me.
No, not completely, but I understand where you're coming from. I can't forgive you on principle, but I understand. No, okay, so your number what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Mulan
Okay,
because we watched it a
got that.
ton growing up. We watched it so much.
Be a Man is an underrated Disney movie, Disney song.
It's so, it's so good.
It really is.
Yeah,
Like
'cause it's
everybody
such a
loves it,
fun
but no one ever
song.
talks about it.
Right.
You know why though? I think it is because it's a guy song. Most Disney songs are
Mm,
sung by women.
mm,
It's like the only one I can think of that's really like Bare Necessities is good. It's sung by a guy, but it's not a lot of really great Disney songs sung by men. But Be a
it's
Man is
cool.
definitely one of
Right.
them. I guess Kiss the Girl.
Which is like your favorite Disney song of all time.
I'm telling you, when we do that list, I'm curious to where it's going to fall, but it's going to be
How
in the
high
top
it's gonna
5. Probably
be.
top 3. I'm trying to think of. There's only one or two songs that I think even compete with it off the top of my head. I might think of some others, but yeah, it's going to be high. Kiss the Girl is going to be very high.
Very shy.
So we'll see how that works out. My number 4 is The Little Mermaid.
But what was it?
Oh, you didn't
What
hear
did
The
you
Little
say?
Mermaid?
Okay. If it was Aladdin, I was about to throw my tablet across the room. I was gonna be very
No,
upset. I would have
but
been
that's not an
personally
insult. Even if it
offended.
was number 4 isn't an insult. That's not a bad ranking.
It's okay. I accept
Yeah.
this.
Anyway, I like The Little Mermaid. Obviously, I love The Little Mermaid. It's a really good movie,
Hmm.
really entertaining. We just
Hmm.
reviewed the live action. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the actual cartoon, which was great.
Yes.
Um, Definitely would rate it more than I think I rated the live action a 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
the cartoon is way higher than that. But
Like a strong 9. Strong like 9.5, somewhere around there.
somewhere high, somewhere high. I'll have to look at it and see, but yeah, it's going to be very high. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, other than the Eric character being different in the live action and being better, everything else I think, and his Butler was
Yeah.
better in the live action. But
Yeah.
Probably other than those two, everything else was better, and quite a
Yeah.
bit better in
Yeah.
the cartoon. Storyline
In a
was
lot of
much better.
cases. In a lot of cases, it was significantly better. Ursula.
Yeah. They had a lot of strong scenes, like we talk about when her father pops up in the cave,
Hmm.
where he might as well have been my father popping up in the cave when I saw that, because you're just like,
Yeah.
like
Oh
what's
God.
happening? He's a killer. No, but no, it's a really great movie. It's really great. You watched it a bunch.
Yeah.
I've seen The Little Mermaid more times than I can care to count. And
Yeah.
go on the chef scene, Le Poisson, which is
Yes.
not in the line.
The greatest scene in cinema history.
So yeah, that definitely adds to the cartoon, and that was not in
Mm.
the live action. And like I said,
Bye.
other than the fact that maybe they couldn't animate it right,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can think of.
Wow.
But man, because the chef is not even in the movie at all, and that's definitely a
No, he's
miss.
not.
Chef being in the movie. Okay, so for my number three is Aladdin. So, and that's very high. You put low. Well, you have the Lion King like 12th of 10 or something like that.
At 5.
Aladdin is awesome. Aladdin's great. Even though I do like the live action better. Oddly enough, I love the live action. But I know. But the cartoon is great, and of course Robin Williams, he gives the performance
Yes.
of a lifetime. Talk about
I
somebody
wonder
owning a movie.
how much of the genie was actually in script and how much was just him being Robin Williams.
I have heard estimates, and I don't know how accurate they are. I have heard estimates they have between 2 and 20 hours of him just riffing, and they picked him to put it in the movie where he was just going off. Because the guy who played Aladdin, who is not a known actor, he talked about how it was wild being on set with him. He was just going nuts, and they just had to take a little bit of it and make the movie. But apparently, he was going crazy, doing inappropriate stuff. I mean,
I
he
want a
was
full length movie of just all of that.
right.
Everything that got
I would
shown.
watch I would watch the whole freaking thing. I swear I would. When DVDs came out and they started doing the outtakes and stuff, I never understood. I would love to just see a cut of the actors doing the movie, the voice
Hmm.
actors, because I like watching the voice actors when they're acting their parts out. It's really
Yeah,
entertaining to me.
it's very fun.
I would
Yeah.
love to see like a 15, 20-minute clip of the voice
Hmm.
actors just doing their parts and seeing how they're moving and moving their hands and
Hmm.
how they're getting into the part. Because that's got to be
Hmm.
challenging.
Yeah.
Nobody ever did that. I would definitely. I pay money to see that. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, who's your number three? You
My
said
number 3.
Mulan.
I said number 4 was Mulan.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Number 3 is Hunchback.
Wow, you rated Hunchback high.
Yes.
So you really, really like Hunchback.
Yes.
Gotcha. So is it all Frollo? What do you really, really like about it?
Um, a large part of it is Frollo, yes. He is comically evil. Right? Not even like comically evil, he's just like such a bad person. But it's
Yeah.
so
I
realistic
must say
at the same time that it's terrifying and it's
that's
incredible.
it's not even comically evil. It's just real
Yeah.
evil. Like you don't see evil like
It's
on
like,
that level in a Disney movie.
I've heard people complain that he's too evil. I'm like, no. What do you mean? He's perfect. He's like the perfect villain.
He's vicious. He's vicious. And they in the scene where he says I had trouble with the fire last night, that might be the only thing he said that was funny. He's
which is
not
so
funny. He doesn't say funny.
yeah. Because most Disney villains,
Like he
they
said,
have some level of comedy to them, and Frollo's just like,
right.
no. Frollo says
Yeah,
no to comedy.
most Disney villains is softened with the comedy. His is not. It's just straight evil, you know.
And also,
But
obviously, Hellfire is incredible. Despite me not remembering it from my childhood, because I think I blocked it out from trauma,
bro,
I do not remember this song as a child. I just heard it once, I'm like, I do not remember any of this. What happened?
you probably couldn't understand it
Yeah, no. Definitely not. I did
because
not
when you're younger,
understand it.
it's an adult song. If
Yeah,
you're a kid, if you're 8, you should not understand Hellfire. An
no,
8-year-old should not be able to understand what that song is about.
no.
So,
I didn't get any of,
and
like, the undertones with him and Esmeralda. I didn't understand that as a child, which is good. I shouldn't have.
right, exactly. So I'm not. Yeah, that's understandable, but it makes the
Yeah.
movie very entertaining.
Yes.
He is a bad man. So, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said you locked in your number 1 and 2. The only one that was probably locked in for me was my number 1.
Mm.
What's your number 2?
But you didn't do number 3, did you? Or, your number 3 was Aladdin,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
Okay. So, number 2 for me was Little Mermaid.
of course, of course.
Yes.
I forgot. Yeah,
It's been there for years, and I doubt it will change
yeah.
anytime soon.
Do you remember the little Mermaid DVD that you had? You had a Little Mermaid DVD that broke because you played it so much.
No, that was Aladdin. That was not the Little Mermaid. That was Aladdin that
Oh,
happened.
was it Aladdin? Oh, I thought that was
Yes.
Little Mermaid. Okay,
No. No, Little Mermaid was, like, destroyed, though, because I watched it so much it was so scratched up. You
gotcha.
could barely
Yeah,
watch the thing. It was destroyed.
yeah. I know you love that movie.
Yes.
I loved it too, though. Because that's a toss up for me. They were Little Mermaid's my number 4 and Aladdin's my number 3, so they're really close to me too. I like both of those movies, probably
Yeah.
about the same. They're really good. My number 2 surprised me. My number 2 is Hercules.
Mm. That's not very surprising for me, though. You love this movie.
I do. I guess I didn't realize how much until I started actually doing
Yeah.
the rankings. But yeah,
Whenever I
I do.
see just like any picture of Disney Hades, I just immediately think of you. That's the first thing I think of when I see Disney Hades.
Talk about a funny villain.
Yes.
Hades
In
is
contrast with Frollo.
yeah, he's the opposite of
Yeah.
Frollo.
Yes.
Everything he says is funny.
Yeah, Hades
the guy
might
who
be
plays
one
it,
of the funniest Disney villains in existence. He might
yeah,
just be.
that'll be one we have to do. The funniest Disney villains.
Mm. Frollo
You know
will
who's a
not be
funny
on that
Disney?
list.
No, Frollo won't be on that list. Do you know who probably will be though?
Ooh.
Who's low key hilarious? Scar.
In like a really messed up dark humor kind of way.
But he has a lot of funny lines. Like when he's
Yeah.
talking to
Simba.
Simba, he's like, "What does that? Will that make you a monkey's uncle?" You know, all that stuff. That stuff's hilarious, man. He was just messing with that kid the whole time. You know, even when he
All
talks about
his.
he got the lion's share of the brains, and he's at the shallow end of the gene pool with the strength. I mean, all that stuff's funny, man.
Yeah.
He's got some serious humor.
Or like his iconic line where he's like, "I'm surrounded by idiots." His iconic line.
Right. Yeah, Scar is actually really funny.
Very
He's a really
funny.
funny,
Yeah.
deviously funny. Ursula's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a few funny villains. But yeah, I think Hades would definitely be number 1. I'd have to.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody else being number
Yeah.
1. With the humor.
Is he voiced by a comedian?
Hades.
Yeah.
James Wood is not a comedian per se, but
But he
he's
was funny,
hilarious
like
in every.
Okay.
Yeah, he just has a hilarious delivery and stuff, but he doesn't just do straight comedy. He usually does dramas. And he plays a lot of bad guys.
Mm.
But
He has a bad guy voice. He has a very menacing
yeah,
voice.
he does. But he just has a way about him where when he talks, it just sounds funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not a comedian. No, he's not. That's not his thing. He doesn't just do comedic stuff.
Mm.
Which is interesting you said that because he's thought of when you think of him, you laugh because he's so funny.
Yeah.
But it just works out like that. Because I like he's in a lot of movies I like. They're all dramas. Uh, yeah, and he's a villain in them, but he's funny. We both knew number one, so
Yes.
your, your number one is
Aladdin, and yours is The Lion King.
King,
We both
right?
knew this.
So yeah, we knew that before we even started making this list.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how the Lion King. I'm gonna tell you when the Lion King came out, again, it was '94. The
Mm.
animation was off the charts. We hadn't seen animation like that. It was such
Yeah.
a grand movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a story that matched it. The story was very good.
Mm-hmm.
The story matched the
The story's
grandeur.
incredible. And so the story's incredible, yeah.
It is. They did a great job. They really did.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you know how all the other movies come from like um fairy tales, like Hans
Mm-hmm.
Christian Andersen stuff, Cinderella
Right.
and
All these
Snow
animated
White
stuff.
and Little Mermaid. This movie is considered an off-take of Hamlet, which is a
Mm-hmm.
Shakespeare play, but you know it's not a fairy tale. So it was like that was one of the first non fairy tale movies we got, even though it was still kind of a remake of Hamlet, very loosely. Yeah, but it's a I mean it's an unbelievable movie, and I still have not. So to me, Inside Out was the first movie that I watched, a Disney movie that I watched, where I was like, it might be on par with The Lion King. Nemo as
Really?
well.
Mm.
Nemo as well. I thought Nemo was close.
Those Pixar movies.
Yeah, but those are the two movies that were animated movies where I was like, whoa, because Inside Out blew me away. Talk about a movie that makes you cry. Woo! Inside
The
Out tore
ending
me up.
scene. You are bawling by
Yeah,
that point. And if you are not, you have no soul.
yeah. That's another. I want to do a list of um, crying scenes, the scenes that make you cry the most.
Oh my god. We're gonna be a mess by the end. We are not going to be okay.
We have to watch. It would be the episode sponsored by Kleenex. Watch it with tissues.
Oh my god. No.
So what do you think about the first opening scene to Up?
The opening. Oh god.
I I think that might be number one, but I'm not sure. But that
I
scene,
remember not understanding like what everything meant as a kid. Then I watched it later on, and I was just like, I was not okay.
it absolutely guts you. It does. It messes you up so bad when you watch it. It's like when you get to the end and they start talking and doing the movie again, you're just like you almost can't function. Like, hey, man, they did that. There was a clip of two teenage boys. They were like maybe
Mm.
18, 19. They were on a couch. They had like popcorn with them and stuff, but they had their knees up and they were just sitting there watching the scene, and their faces were red and they were crying. Two teenage boys watching this movie together, just done. That's it. Because you can't watch. Talk about not having a soul. You can't watch that scene and not just lose it. Mm,
Again, if you watch and you don't cry, you do not have a soul. You do not experience
yeah.
human emotions.
You know they had that. You
Uh,
know what I'm talking about? When the balloon sails in,
yeah. Yeah.
and and then it cuts to him at the church by himself, holding a balloon.
No.
I'm just like,
Oh my god.
oh, yeah,
No. No.
yeah. They pulled on the heartstrings very hard on that one. So
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'll ask you this, little last thing, because this is a long video. The Disney
Mm.
Renaissance movies. Are there how many movies, Disney movies, do you think you like that are better than the Disney Renaissance movies? Like I think
Um,
Frozen's probably for you. For me too.
yeah. Encanto, I think I like more than a few of the Disney Renaissance movies.
It would probably rank higher than some of them for me, but it would be kind of low on
Mm.
the list. But I do like Encanto a lot. Um, I'm trying to think.
Me
It's
too.
hard because the best, those are the best movies. Let me look at the list right quick
Yeah.
before we go. Yeah, I pulled up the the 62 movies we always talk about.
Hmm. Oh, Atlantis. Atlantis might be better than some of these.
Atlantis, and for me for sure, The Emperor's New Groove. The
Oh
Emperor's
yeah,
New Groove
of
would
course.
a lot of movies for me.
Mm.
None of the older movies. Cinderella's good.
I don't think I've ever
I
seen
think.
Cinderella actually.
Hmm. See, there's a section of movies I like in this before the Disney Renaissance. So I'm gonna
Mm.
name them, and then you just tell me. I don't know how many of them you've seen. 101
Mm.
Dalmatians, Sword in the Stone, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, and Robin Hood. That group of
Yes.
movies I think are really good. Not as good as Disney
The only
Renaissance
one of
movies, but
those I think I've seen fully is the Aristocats actually.
yeah, y'all used to watch that a lot.
Yes. Remember me and Gregory, I used to put him on the counter and we used to dance while singing the Aristocats. Everybody wants to be a cat.
That's hilarious. You never saw 101 Dalmatians?
I don't think all the way through, no. I've seen like the opening scene, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing, no.
Oh wow. Brother Bear is another one y'all used to watch.
Yes. Oh no.
Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinson. That's better than like over half the Disney Renaissance for you, I know.
I like that one more than Lion King, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's another one for
Meet
me
the Robinsons
personally.
is a movie.
I love that movie. Oh, I forgot about that movie. Chicken Little's good. It was better than people said it was. I like Chicken Little.
Everyone hates on it for some reason. Everybody hates
Yeah,
it.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Now, okay, I'm gonna throw these out to you because you like these movies. I want to know what you think. The Princess and the Frog and Tangled.
I think Princess and the Frog could be better than some of them. I don't think Tangled quite is though.
Okay, I thought you liked Tangled more than that. What about Wreck-It
It's Princess and
Ralph? You
the
know, it should be a Pixar movie.
Frog. Hmm. It could maybe beat some of the lower ones.
Hmm. It would be high on my list, but my problem is I
Hmm.
still in my mind Wreck-It Ralph is Pixar and Brave is Disney. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say that the second half of Brave is just Brother Bear. It's just the plot of Brother Bear.
Right. Yeah. I love the first half of Brave. The second half, I think I've
Yes.
watched it all the way through once.
The scene with the cross, the bow and arrow, your favorite scene in the universe.
That is my favorite Disney scene of all time. Yes. Yeah. And I don't think there's a second. That scene, oh my God, I love that scene. That little girl. I love tough women. I love strong women. So that scene, that girl
Mm.
came in there with that dress and whoo, I want to go watch that now. Anyway, um,
Every time it
what
comes
about
on, you're always very attentive.
oh, here's one. Now I'm going to say this one, and then there's one I know should be in the Disney Renaissance. Me and you both will agree. Big Hero
Mm.
6 is a good movie, though.
Yeah. I feel like Big Hero 6 gets dragged down by the fact that the villain, like when you stop and like really think about it, it's not the greatest. It's not like horrible, but it's like it could have been a lot better.
It could have been better. They muddled it. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moana.
Ah, Moana's very, very good. Yeah, that might be better than quite a few of these.
Yep. Moana would be way high on that list for me.
Yeah, because like after the first like year or two of Moana, people stopped talking about it. People don't talk about it very much, strangely.
I think they do because they're making a live action.
They are. I thought they were making a sequel.
They're also making a live action.
Oh, they're making both?
I think so.
Oh,
I have to look
never
it up to
mind
make
then.
sure. I have to look it up to make sure. But I know I saw something about a live action Moana.
Hmm. I knew they were making something related to Moana, a different movie. I thought it was a sequel, though.
Mm-hmm. No. I think they might be doing a sequel as well. I don't know. We have to look it up. But the other one is Raya and the Dragon.
But I don't think Raya's quite as good as the other. As the red. It might be better than some of the lower ones, maybe.
Yeah. It's good.
Thank you for listening to the Daddy, Daughter, and Disney podcast.